Scene two, take one, Mark.
In the span of a day, how often are you online? I'll bet it's at least a few hours. If you're anything like me, your smartphone is the first thing you see when you wake up and likely the last thing you see before you go to bed. Do you ever stop and think about who designs and develops everything at our fingertips? Well, incredible developers like Gina Bak. Hi, Gina. Thanks so much for having me in your home. Tell us, what's it like being a software developer?
Being a software developer means you're on your computer a lot. You open your computer and you're just writing a whole bunch of code and you don't realize that everything you write can solve a lot of problems.
How did you become a developer? Did you start right out of high school?
No, I had no idea what to do right out of high school. So my first degree is in applied linguistics. So I used to teach English to newcomers, and then I became a language assessor. And then I watched this documentary called The True Cost on Netflix. It wrecked my life. And I felt like I had to do something. I started applying for fashion school in New York, and something didn't feel right. And I took an online obscure quiz that told me I'd be a really good software engineer, and I had no idea what that meant. And so I found out through Ladies Learning Code that I would give it a try, and I fell in love with it.
Fashion design to web development. What a jump. What do you feel it takes to become a really solid developer?
I grew up in the 90s, and the only jobs I knew about was to be a teacher, a lawyer, and a doctor, and that was it. I did not know you could be a software developer.
So, did you like it right away?
I went to my first ever experience coding was in the Ladies Learning Code workshop where we were learning about Python, and I loved how wiggly my brain felt, and I was like, what is this? I made like a little program that automatically answered questions about my dog's mood. It was great.
How did you find your current job?
There's an ice cream store called Mushu in Ottawa, and I loved it so much. When I moved to Ottawa, I found it and I went too often. I got to know the owners, and it said powered by Shopify. And I had never heard of Shopify before. And Chris Mack, who is also an owner at Mushu Ice Cream, works at Shopify, and he's like, Shopify has this program with Carlton. It's called Dev Degree. You should apply.
So when did you know you made the right choice?
I knew I made the right choice when I was like, oh, that was really fun. And another thing was I really love the community in the tech space. There's not a lot of women, and as a person of color, it's, yeah, sometimes you question yourself. But what I love, it's really empowering. And one thing was I'm currently on the point of sale team at Shopify, and I went into a store and I was like, oh, what are you using? And they're like, oh, I'm using Shopify. And so it was really cool, and they talked to me, and they're like, oh, there's this like thing that I really like about it, and there's this other thing that I think could be fixed, and it was really cool that I could work on something that really helps this person's business.
What's your favorite part about programming?
It's the people. So I really like the people aspect of it. And so when I'm coding, I want to think about the people that are going to be using the product.
So you'd recommend it to others?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If you like solving problems, I think, yeah, you'll love it, because you're problem solving every single day.
So what are some of the things that you do in your work?
I code. I go to meetings. And it's funny, I think being a developer, people are like, you put your hood on and like you're just coding in the dark, and that's not what it is. You have to be collaborative, you have to be able to talk to people and be like, oh, I wrote it this way because I thought this was a better approach because of X, Y, Z.
You never really know who's on the other side of your screen doing all this awesome web development work. So now you know. It's awesome developers like Gina Bak. She makes software development sound like a pretty sweet gig. It sounds like there's a lot of perks to being a software developer. All you need is a laptop and some Wi-Fi. I could be working right now.